We're going to go through balancing equations using formulae which can be dragged. This worksheet is likely to be able to be found on your team site under Class Materials, Balancing Equations, Worksheet 8.1. And what it is it's a set of equations which need to be balanced. And it starts off with the word equation, followed by a unbalanced symbol equation, or just equation as we often refer to it, and below it are the elements or molecules or compounds which need to be used to be balanced. And it's been expanded to try giving you an understanding of what's present, just to help you out. So Mg, just one Mg, Cl2, meaning 2 chlorines, MgCl2, 1 magnesium and 2 chlorides. So if we look at this, we can see there is 1 magnesium present on each side, 2 chlorides present on each side, so it's already balanced, so we don't need to do anything with this. And with this, I would suggest maybe you try working through it, have a go, and if you get stuck, push play afterwards to try finding out what the solution is. So the second one, hydrogen plus chlorine going to hydrogen chloride. We can see there are 2 hydrogens on the left, 2 chlorines on the left, and 1 hydrogen and 1 chlorine on the right. So it's not yet balanced because we can see there is a different amount of hydrogen on each side, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, 2 chlorines on the left, 1 on the right. Now, if you're using a PC, I am using a PC, so if you hold down Control, you'll see the pointer changes to a funny little pointer with a little plus. You can pull and drag things down like so. I would imagine on the Mac it may also work the same, hold Control and drag, and also probably, hopefully, on a Chromebook. So we can now see we have 2 chlorines on the left, 2 chlorines on the right, 2 hydrogens on the left, 2 on the right, so we just need to put that 2 in to say we have balanced it. So we have now got a balanced equation. Remember to pause the video between each one so you can have a go at doing it yourself. Sodium plus chlorine going to sodium chloride. So on the left we have 1 sodium with, assuming we've got 1s in front of everything, 1 chlorine molecule, so 2 Cls, and on the right we have 1 sodium and 1 chlorine. We can see straight away, or I can see straight away, there are 2 green chlorines on the left and 1 chlorine in sodium chloride on the right. So we need to increase the amount of chlorine in the form of chloride ions on the right, like so. By increasing the amount of sodium chloride, we increase the amount of sodium, and so we need to increase the amount of sodium on the left, like so. So we put a 2 in here. Calcium plus oxygen going to calcium oxide. We've got 2 oxygens on the left, and we've got 1 oxygen on the right. So we could increase the amount of calcium oxide, like so, and that means the oxygen is now balanced, 2 oxygens on each side. On the left we've got 1 calcium, on the right 2, so we need to increase the amount of calcium on the left. So we could do this, and we now have a balanced equation. Again, remember you can hold Control to drag things down. Question 5. Sodium plus oxygen goes to sodium oxide. We've got 2 oxygens on the left, 1 on the right, so we could increase the amount of sodium oxide, like so, put a 2 in front of that. We can see we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 sodiums on the right, so we would need to put a 4 in front of the sodiums here, and we now have our balanced equation. So 4 sodiums plus 1 O2, because it's obviously a pair there, forms 2 lots of sodium oxide. Don't forget to put this in an extension question, so if you find it difficult, don't worry about it yet. So if we look here, we've got 3 oxygens here and 2 on this side. Now, it's generally speaking trying to get the same amount. We could either think about there's 2 here, 3 here, so we could try to first increase the amount of oxygen by 1, so having 2. We could now see we've got 4 on this side, 3 on this side, so we could try to increase the amount of oxygen on that side. And we could put a 2 here. we could now check the oxygen. We still haven't got quite enough oxygen because we've obviously increased it. We've got 4 on this side and 6 on that side, so we'd obviously have to increase the amount of oxygen on that side. So we now have 3 here. The oxygen's balanced. Aluminiums, we've got 4 on the right, so we need to have 4 on the left. And we would now do 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's our balanced equation. Just so you know, out of interest, if we're trying to balance things, often the little subscripts can often be used as ideas for possible numbers to use when you're balancing equations. So there's 2 here, so sometimes it might actually go to the other side. There's a 3 for the oxygen here, so it might be a 3 here, but that's just something which you may work out or notice later on, but don't worry about it. Calcium plus water forms calcium hydroxide and hydrogen. This is a good recap of what brackets mean. Brackets mean 2 lots of things in a bracket. So calcium hydroxide is 1 calcium and 2 lots of hydroxide. Looking at this, I can see on the right I have 2 oxygens. So on the right I need to also, on the right I have 2 oxygens, so on the left I also have to have 2 oxygens. If I look at my equation now, oxygen's balanced by putting a 2 there. There's 1 calcium on each side, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogens on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogens on the right, so it's balanced. Nitrogen plus hydrogen forming something called NH3, which is known as ammonia. 2 nitrogens on the left, 1 on the right, so let's increase the amount of nitrogen on the right so we have the same amount of nitrogen. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogens here. Don't forget to put the 2 in there. And so we need to have the same amount of hydrogen on the left. So if we increase this by 2, there we go. We've now got our balanced equation like so. Sodium plus water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Sodium is balanced, oxygen is balanced. Hydrogen, there are 2 on the left and 3 on the right. So what we need to do is obviously increase the amount of hydrogen on the right. Now, if we just add 1 more sodium hydroxide, by going for the idea of trying to sometimes have even numbers on each side, this now means we have 4 hydrogens on the right and 2 on the left. So we could put 2 now in front of a sodium in front of water, and now we have 4 hydrogens on each side. But when we increase the amount of sodium hydroxide, we also increased not only the amount of hydrogen, we obviously increased the amount of oxygen, but that's just been corrected for by putting a 2 in front of the H2O. We've also increased the amount of sodium, so we need to have a 2 in front of the sodium hydroxide, sodium, giving us the following. Number 10. Iron plus chlorine forming iron chloride. Iron 3 chloride. So, if we look at this, iron is currently balanced. Chlorine is for 2 on this side, 3 on that side. Trying to go for an even number is one strategy you could use. So you could try just doubling the amount of iron 3 chloride, like so. That means we now have 6 chlorides on the right, so we'll need to have 6 chlorines on the left. They come in pairs here, so that means we'll have to have 3 lots of chlorine molecules, so we put a 3 in here. Ions, there are 2 iron 3 plus ions on this side, so we'll need to have 2 ions on the left, like so. Magnesium plus cold water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. Don't forget to keep on not just watching it and just having a go and giving it a go. So, magnesium plus water forms magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. As oxygen is really bright red, it looks as like the obvious one I think I should sort of balance first. So we need to increase the amount of water on the left hand side, like so. We've now got, by doubling that, we've now got 4 hydrogens on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right, so 2 in the magnesium hydroxide and 2 in hydrogen, so hydrogen's balanced. And magnesium is still balanced, we haven't changed anything. For bottom one, 1 magnesium on each side, 2 hydrogens on the left, 2 hydrogens on the right, 1 oxygen on the left, 1 oxygen on the right, so that's all balanced. So hopefully you've managed to work through all those and you haven't had any problems, but do ask if there's anything you would like expanding or help with.